Good day, everyone, especially to our instructor, Mr. Don Francis Cabreros Prado, sir. My name is Gracial C. Esperanza, and I'm from BSIT 2C. Architecture and organization. So, computer architecture deals with the design of computers, data storage devices, and networking components that store and run programs, transmit data, and drive interaction between computers across networks and with users. So, computer architects use parallelism and various strategies for memory organization to design computing system with very high performance. So, computer architecture requires strong communication between computer scientists and computer engineers since they both focus fundamental on hardware design. So, at its most fundamental level, a computer consists of control unit, an arithmetic logic unit, or the ALU, a memory unit, and input-output controls. The ALU performs simple addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and logic operation such OR and AND. The memory stores the program's instruction and data. The controls unit fetches data instructions from memory and uses operation of the ALU to carry out those instructions using that data. The control unit and ALU together are referred to as a central processing unit or the CPU. So when an input or output instruction is encountered, the control unit transfer the data between the memory and the designed input-output controller. So the operational speed of the CPU's primary determines the speed of the computer as a whole. All of these components, the control unit, the ALU, the memory, and the input-output controllers are realized with transistor circuits. So computer have also another level of memory called a cache, a small or extremely fast compared with the main memory or the random access memory or the RAM unit that can be used to store information that is urgently or frequently needed. And current research include the cache design and algorithm that can predict what data is likely to be needed next and preload it into the cache for improved performance. So, input-output controllers connect the computer to specific input devices such as keyboards and touchscreen displays for feeding information to the memory and output device such as printers and displays. For transmitting information from the memory to user, additional input-output controllers connect the computer to a network via port that provide the conduit through which data flows when the computer is connected to the internet. So, linked to the I/O or the input output controllers are secondary storage devices such as these drive that are slower and have a larger activity or a capacity that main or cache memory. These drives are used for maintaining permanent data. They can be either permanently or temporarily attached to the computer in the form of compact disc or CD, a digital video disc or the DVD, or a memory stick, also called a flash drive. So, the operation of a computer once a program and some data have been loaded into RAM take place as follow. The first instruction is transfer from RAM into the control unit and interpreted by the hardware circuitry. For instance, suppose the instruction is a string of bits that is the code for load. This instruction loads the contents of memory location into the ALU. The next instruction said add is fetch The control unit that loads the contents of memory location 15 into the ALU adds into the number already there. So finally, the instruction in store will store the sum into location. At this level, the operation of the computer is not much different from that of pocket calculator. So in general, programs are not just lengthy requests of load, store, and arithmetic operation. So most importantly, computer language include conditional instruction, essentially rules that says if memory location and satisfies condition, do instruction number X next. Otherwise, to instruction Y, this allows the course of a program to be determined by the result of previous operation as critically important ability. So finally, the programs typically contain sequences of instruction that are repeated a number of times until a predetermined condition becomes true. So such a sequence is called a loop. For example, a loop will be needed to compute the sum of the first n integers. When n is a value stored in a separate memory location, computer architectures that can execute sequences of instruction, conditional instruction, and loops are called Turing complete, which means that they carry out the execution of any algorithm that can be defined. Turing completeness is a fundamental and essential characteristic, characteristic, characteristic of any computer organization. So move on. Describe system and procedure for storing and retrieving information. So first, documents should be filled in ethical, alphabetical, chronological, or numerical order so that when somebody is looking for something, they can find the relevant file. Clearly mark and define the relevant document inside by using the file dividers. Confidential files need to be kept in locatable cabinet room and then shorted after the length of time outlined by data protection. So third, it's also important to name files correctly when the electronic filing so they are easy to research for the required information. Fourth one, confidential information that is stored electrically should be password encrypted to stop unauthorized access. So dito naman, we outline legal and organizational requirements for information security and retention. So first, confidential information must be stored security to prevent a branch of data protection. Second one, electronic files must be password encrypted and if they are emailed, you should send the password in a second separate email to avoid unauthorized access. And lastly, files under the Data Protection Act state you should not hold information longer than necessary, so organization should have a place a set length of time the hold information before it's destroyed. Move on to the fourth one. The Data Protection Act state the information data should not be kept for longer than required for most companies will be kept for 5 to 6 years before destroying it. And lastly, account information should be kept between 6 to 7 years. So here, we can explain how to create a filling system to facilitate information identification and retrieval. So first, depending on the data you are finding depends on how you need to store. If you are storing confidential document, it's either needs to be locked away or password protected. Second one, you can organize in chronologically, numerically, or alphabetically, depending on what is the best suited to the documents you're filling. Third one, you need to use different files to separate documents. And then within these files, there should be dividers to make information easier to find again. So move on. Here we can explain how to use different search techniques to locate and retrieve information. So first, when searching for a hard copy document in file, you need to know whether to search numerically, alphabetically, or chronologically, and then use the file dividers within the files to locate the information you required. When searching electronically, you can use keywords to search files. So here, describe what to do when problems arise when storing information. First, if you can find a document, it may have been filled incorrectly. You can try and search files with similar names as it may have been put there by mistake. Last, if a file becomes full, you may need to split in half into two separate folders that clearly label them to follow company procedure and keeps the system easily accessible. So thank you everyone for listening. I'm Gracial Esperanza from BSIT2C.